is wondering as well, this is not our only broadcast of the day. Casting ESL Americas this morning. In a couple of hours, in 8 hours, sorry, 7.5 hours from this message, we are going to be casting the NA Apprentice as well. So, plenty more ahead of us today. Plenty more to come. But here we go. We are diving into our second series of the morning. And this morning, in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Sister, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. And this morning, in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Arbidos. It is NightMare. The Dark versus the NightMare, a series that we have casted recently. These two players have been duking it out. NightMare has been looking really impressive, especially against some of the other Zerg players. NightMare did recently bring down Solar. I say recently, it was a couple of weeks ago where NightMare took on Solar in the GSL qualifiers. That was, I want to say, 3 weeks ago at this point, so it's been some time. But again, NightMare has been looking very on fire in this matchup. The problem is that he's looking good against Zerg. What about against Dark? Specifically, NightMare is hyper aggressive on 3 bases, basically 2 to 3 bases in the mid game. In the mid game, NightMare does thrive. But so does Dark. That's the thing. Dark is more willing to be aggressive and kind of meet NightMare where he stands. So it's going to be difficult for NightMare to kind of dictate the pace of the game and really assert himself the way that he would like to. So I do think Dark is going to be quite an obstacle for NightMare to overcome. We'll see if he can, as for the time being, we're just going to be going for a gate expand. Probe is across the map, just harassing, just being a little bit cheeky, being a little bit annoying, especially on these gas mining drones. As Dark is forced to take the unnatural natural as we speak, taking the linear third base. Nothing too crazy. It is what Dark is used to. What Zerg players are used to be fair. I have noticed that Dark, whenever he goes for a 14 hatchery, it is very map dependent. We've seen him do it on Neo-Humanity. We've seen him do it on Altitude as well. There are specific maps that Dark does go for the 14 hatch or even 15 hatch. But Ancient Sister doesn't seem to be one of them. As the probe does delay the third base, that's why we make the Lings. Lings, they shut down the probe and they will force a cancel on this pylon. Meanwhile, the Adept is making his way across the map. The goal here is for the Adept to get here in time to keep this pylon alive, to contain Dark to 2 bases for as long as possible. Pylon is cancelled, but the Adept is here to kill any of these drones that decides to rock up. Across the map, it is going to be a Stargate opener, so pretty standard here from NightMare as to be expected. Meanwhile, a little bit of miscontrol. Does he get it? Up! He does get the drone. Mission accomplished for NightMare. Again, the goal here was for the Adept to get the drone kill if possible, and he was able to pull it off. Now Dark should be able to expand, but again, it was heavily delayed. Did even lose a drone as well. The Queens, get out of the way! The Queen was so thick. Finally does get pushed away, and with that we can finally get into this. Of course, Dark working on his lair. Spores are on the way as well. It's getting a call. There we go. Oh, as the Oracle does rock up and sorry, I was responding to a call. I was responding to a text message. But 5 drones did go down here at the third base. Very nicely done by NightMare. He keeps the Oracle alive as well. So everything has been going quite well for NightMare, to be honest. He delays the third base. He gets a drone kill. Gets 5 more drones with his first Oracle. Now he meets up with the second. He has plenty of energy to work with. He catches the transferring drones as well. Oof. 2 more drones go down. The Spore isn't done. This is getting out of hand. 5 more workers full. This is something that typically we're not used to seeing here in Dark's ZvP, and he's going all in. I appreciate this. Because Dark has been taking so many losses, He knows he cannot macro out of this. How many drones have we lost? We've lost 11 drones already. Dark far behind. What's the answer to this? The answer is a fast lair, a Nidus, a Link Queen, Nidus all in. Oh boy, it is all or nothing for Dark. Can he pull it off? As NightMare hasn't scouted this. NightMare has been so busy harassing and killing drones, and he's been doing a great job, but he didn't see the main. He doesn't know about the lair. He doesn't know about the Nidus. He doesn't know he's being all in. And ooh, we have the Nidus into the main base. NightMare is moving out across the map with Adepts, with Oracles. He has momentum. He can feel it. And when he rocks up, there's going to be nothing to face him because everything is going to be across the map instead. Queens do pop out. Lings pop out as well. The Oracles dive into the main base. There is one spore here, but drones are falling left and right. Every single worker is going down as we speak. Oh god, every single drone is falling at the same time though. What about the probes of NightMare? We have shield batteries on the way. The main base is forfeit. We're going to be taking down the production. We force a recall. The Adepts are going back home. And they're going to fare not too poorly against these Lings. Or the Queens though, they do waddle on forward. Another Nidus on the way. NightMare, he's pulling this off with the shield batteries finishing in the natural. All he has to do is protect the natural. That's all he needs. All he needs. Lings taking down the third base as well. Twilight Council Blink is going to be denied. Adepts are going to try and force their way up the ramp, but again, they are glaive. Less Adepts. They're vanilla. They don't pose the greatest threat against these Queens. As NightMare is being contained to one base. Now the question becomes, is this enough damage from Dark? Is this enough? As more Lings are flooding on in, like, we're not going to be able to break the natural base. Like, look at all these shield batteries, look at all these Adepts. But Dark he got to kill the Twilight Council, he denied Blink. Takes down the Stargate, takes down the main Nexus. Creep is being spread. From here, can Dark go back home? Does he want to go back home? Nidus does fall. Dark has been droning. Yeah, he's resaturating his bases. Dark's still behind in the economy, but look at this, 37 workers on one base. NightMare is heavily oversaturated. And here we go. Dark, he just goes back home. I love the Spine and Spore Forest, by the way. But Dark just goes back home. Adepts are coming across the map to harass, but again, Dark will be here in time to defend. And NightMare, he needs to expand, and he's not going to expand in the main. That will not happen. Oh. He commits! No! He commits to the shade. The Lings dive on forward. They're going to clean up all these Adepts. 6 drones go down, which is nice, but again, he needed more. Oh, I love this. The Spines, they set up to harass the mineral line as well. I assumed that this was just to deny the base, but no, we can actually take down probes. Probes are falling to the Spine harass. We have Spore Crawlers as well just to defend. At the same time, Lings go for a counterattack. They deny the natural base. GG gets called. And Dark does it. How? GG, well played. Dark takes game number 1. From the brink of defeat, he was dead. Dark had like, what? 20 workers? Less than 20 workers, to be honest. Dark, he didn't have an economy. He was forced all in. He was dying to the harass of NightMare. Shout out to NightMare, by the way. NightMare was just popping off, taking down drone, worker after worker, drone after drone. But the Nidus all in was unscouted. NightMare was woefully unprepared. And GG. GG, well played. Oh my god. Dark takes a lead in this series. Let's go. Catch him in chat. Quack, Flappy, quack. Hello, hello. Oh, yo, we're getting some updates in the chat about Beyond versus Trigger. Love to see it. Yeah, that TVP was gonna be spicy, definitely, but not as spicy as this. I'll be honest. Oh my god, I don't think anyone was expecting NightMare to get a lead, get ahead, look to take down Dark, and Dark just bring it all back with the all-in. Damn. And now here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is Dark. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss representing Team Abydos. It is NightMare. And I hope NightMare isn't too upset by what just happened. I hope he's okay. He was looking so good. He was looking so good in game one. Oh my god. It did slip through his fingers. I wish the best of luck here to NightMare. I want to see the ace match. I want this to go the distance. But it's Dark, and even when he's dead, he's alive. It's crazy. Oh my god. It's one of those things where like things can look dire, you know, things can look bleak. But Dark, despite his name, he can see the light, you know, he knows the path to victory, you know, despite how everything could be going against him. He knows that, okay, I have a win condition, I have a way. Like, remember, Dark, he was very quick to transition into the all-in. After he lost too many drones, immediately he went for the lair, recognizing that he had just sustained too many losses, and that going toe-to-toe with NightMare in a longer macro game just probably wouldn't be possible. So yeah, like, just quickly deciding to go for the all-in, executing it the way that he did, spreading creep, even making the decision to throw down spines and spore crawlers was, yeah, really unique, and I can't imagine that's happened too often for Dark. If not happened before at all. So yeah, just a really crazy turn of events. Crazy, papi. As yo, a shout out to Blaker Deuce in the chat for gifting 100 bits, papi. Gracias. Ay, gracias, papi. Gracias. Thank you so much. We appreciate the support. You earned a new badge, apparently. 5k bits. Oh, thank you so much. Blaker Deuce, a long-time supporter of the chat. We appreciate it. Yeah. As we do have ourselves getting back into this game. It is going to be a Stargate opener once again from NightMare. Interesting position for the Stargate. He actually throws it down a little bit further back, so he's keeping this hidden from Dark. Meanwhile, the Adepts have rooked up, and do see NightMare just vying for map control back at home. Dark just going for a hatch gas pool, going for his third base. This time he wasn't delayed. This time he hasn't lost anything to any Adepts. So a much stronger start here in game number 2 for Dark. NightMare, he doesn't have as much momentum as he did in game 1. Oh. Here we go. Overlords dip in, and because of the positioning of the Stargate, it's going to take that much longer for Dark to figure out what's going on. We do have an Adept across the map. One drone does go down. Not too bad, as Dark is kept in the dark. And oh, hello NightMare. He's going for an Oracle first into a Phoenix. Very interesting, as he's also trying to snipe that Overlord as well, but the Overlord will survive, will back off in time. For the time being, NightMare is being contained here to 2 bases. Dark trying to figure out what's going on. In a couple of seconds, Dark may throw down a Roach Warren, as I believe he hasn't seen anything yet. But he may just now come across that Oracle. Spores are on the way. Queens are getting in position. Oh, and NightMare does not make it in. It's going to be forced back. Meanwhile, the Overlords are being hunted down, and this is going to hit really hard. Okay, so a couple of things. The Phoenix, the goal here is to shut down these Overlords before they get a scout off, and it looks like Dark, can he see the gateways? He sees one gateway, which is a bit of a tell, but nothing too major. The third base hasn't spotted. This is looking like Glaive Adepts. There is no Forge, no +1. 4 gateways in total. No, it's not Glaives. He's going for a charge. Interesting. Regardless, this is very aggressive out of NightMare. So because there's no Forge, that means that there's no like longevity with this soon to be charge lot push. We'll see how all in NightMare is going to be. Meanwhile, the Oracles are across the map looking for more damage, but oh, we take a lot of hits from the Queens. Meanwhile, Dark throwing down a 5-minute Roach Warren. Or I think it was like 4-minute 30, 4-minute 40-ish, so regular timing from that Roach Warren. He's going to be safe and sound. Zealots are being spotted by Dark. Now he's fully aware of the charge. And initially we had 4 gates, now we have 3 more, so it's going to be a 7 gates all in. The Prism is on the way. We're going to have a lot of Zealots, a lot of charge lots. And Dark won't have a Baneling Nest. He's going to have Ling, Roach to defend, which can defend, of course. It's going to be a little bit harder without Banelings, but not impossible. Queens are being brought forward. Here we go. We do have... Actually, we're transitioning quite heavily. So we throw down a Templar Archives, which makes sense. Usually this is to warp in like 2 Archons, and then you just flood with Zealots. But now we have a Forge and a Bay as well. So NightMare is transitioning, is throwing down as much tech as he can. It looks like, especially upon seeing all these Roaches, NightMare has identified that he can't pull this off. And he's going to be looking to expand instead. I imagine he's going to be looking towards a 4th. We'll see. Warp Prism has arrived, and we do have Warpins available. No, he's supply blocked! Okay, the pylons just finished up. We do at least force a cancel on the 4th base. And here we go. Blink and +1 has started, so we are transitioning. We're going to be skipping some Warpins. Zealots can't do much across the map. And Dark is going to be able to get into a Hydra Den, into that Infestation Pit as well. I'm concerned here, though. I feel like NightMare should be looking to expand momentarily. If he stays on 3 bases longer, again, he's going to be that much more committed when he does move out. There we go. Oh, no, never mind. On the minimap, I thought this was a pro, but no, it is an adept. There, the first disruptor is arriving. And yeah, we're just going for this one big push for NightMare. He throws down additional gateways, setting up for a run by. No 4th base in sight. So this is going to be a really offbeat timing from NightMare. We'll see if Dark gets caught, and he is not going to get caught out. We have 1-1 on the way. Dark, he cut workers at 67, 3 base saturation. He hasn't been over droning. He has a massive Roach army. He dives immediately on that disruptor. Nova goes up. Good connection. But Dark is shutting this down, and this is dangerous because NightMare was very committed with this. He had to make something happen. He has no 4th base behind this. Oof. NightMare getting completely shut down. And we do have a couple of disruptors available. NightMare going for a disruptor drop as well. Now we have a 4th base. Very delayed here from NightMare. Second robot for double disruptor production. Dark is droning, so it looks like Dark isn't going to try to hit with his Roaches. He's taking up into Hydras. Token Swarm Host is on the way, because of course it is. Lings are going for a bit of a counterattack, but there's Stalkers here to meet them, so Dark is being forced back. Zealot Rumble being set up as well. So far, NightMare, he's going to be able to establish his 4th base. It's going to be close, but because Dark is focusing on getting into Lurkers, NightMare, he's going to have enough time to actually establish this Nexus. So things are going to be settling down. Things were really intense for a moment, especially when it came to that first big push from NightMare. But Dark is droning, he's chilling, he's expanding. Likewise, so is NightMare. The wall of cannons and shield batteries are about to finish up. And NightMare has successfully expanded, successfully gotten away with his 4th base. But Dark doesn't care because he's got a Hive, Vipers, Lurkers, Hydra Lurker Viper coming out from Dark. Dark has a higher quality, or he will soon have a higher quality army. But the Vipers aren't ready yet, and here we go, the second push is coming. The Disruptors have arrived. That's a lot of Disruptors. That is 7 Disruptors from NightMare. With the Lurkers in already, neither are the Vipers. here we go. Now is a solid moment for NightMare. 2 Novas go off with good connections, and we have 5 more Novas that came from. NightMare bullying his way forward. The disruptors, though, they're exposed. Up! Novas will be connecting. A lot of disruptors are going down. Only 2 disruptors remain. The lurkers just barely morph in. And with the arrival of these lurkers, it looks like Dark is going to hold. Things are looking really scary. Things are looking close. But again, with these lurkers, with the blinding clouds as well, we're going to be able to hold on. NightMare is being forced back. He's still stuck with this Stalker Disruptor army. 2 Novas are pushing on forward. Up. Oh, we do get one of the lurkers. Almost get a second. Oh my god, that was a clutch transfuse. Dark keeping everything alive. Up. And with that detection, we do see NightMare just dive on top of the lungers. He gets 1, he gets 2, he gets 3. Oh, but the blinding clouds are brutal. Just barely gets a yoink off. If I'm not mistaken, yep, that was every Viper. Every single Viper just got sniped. NightMare, he is trading well. He's trading well against this army. But as time goes on, the lurker count is getting higher and higher. But again, NightMare's done a great job of just keeping the lurker count at bay. Oof, another lurker goes down. Zealot run-by is being cleaned up as well. Dark is going to be able to keep up with that run-by. He doesn't give an inch. Oh, the Observer. Observer is going to go down. See the lurkers spreading out, getting the concave ready. Up. Oh, these couple of lurkers, though, they're quite exposed. They are going to be going down. Again, NightMare's been trading well. Ah, but he's going to be losing everything. Oh, he overstayed his welcome. The Stalkers are getting caught out. They're going to be getting 2 more lurkers for the troubles. But we can see NightMare is running out of steam. He has been skipping warp-ins. He's been missing warp-ins. You can see NightMare has a 2k, 1k bank. He's trying to spend his money. He was hyper-focused on microing, on controlling his army, and now he's being caught with his pants down. Oh. Was unable to spend his bank. Dark has now arrived with a massive Hydra counterattack. And NightMare just needs more time. We saw a fleet beacon in production. He's trying to get into Skytoss, but it's too little too late. It just goes to show how intense those moments were for NightMare. And hey, I mean, he was sniping lurker after lurker, but again, just wasn't warping in. Wasn't able to macro or keep up with the macro of Dark. As more Zealots are going down, we can see the natural base has been broken. Dark diving into the main. What is there here to defend? Nothing. As the Dark heads towards the 4th base as well. Disruptors are going down one after the other. Up! Good Nova goes off. Pretty good Nova, but there's still so much here for Dark. A shout out to NightMare. He put in the effort. He put in quite an effort. Made Dark work for it, especially in game 1. Here in game 2, though, Dark was looking a little more comfortable. As the disruptors are going to go down before the Novas connect. GG gets called, and Dark takes the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. I say the next round. I believe Dark advances on to the semifinals. Congratulations. GG, well played. And speaking of congratulations, a massive shout out to C Grail in the chat. I did notice that you did give some bits in the chat during that game. Didn't quite find an opportunity to shout you out, but thank you so much. We appreciate the support. Like Blake does, C Grail is also a good supporter of the channel. One of the many supporters that we have, of course. Thank you, thank you. We always do appreciate it, C Grail. Always do appreciate it. Gracias, papi, gracias. And again, congratulations to Dark for bringing it back in game 1 and for having a much more solid, I say solid performance. It was a risky performance here from Dark as well. Remember, it was on a knife's edge. Dark was trying to rush into Vipers and Lurkers. He allowed NightMare to expand and get his 4th base up and running in favor of teching up instead. And he was just barely able to get into those Vipers and just barely able to squeeze out a handful of Lurkers. Despite that, NightMare was fighting hard. He was sniping some high-tech units, but as we saw, he wasn't quite spending his money. He wasn't able to keep up with the production of Dark, and he did fall in the end. GG, well played. And with that, we have to catch up on the brackets. We have to figure out what has been going on.